So my mirror fell off. So I don't have a mirror. So this is going to be a fun ride to work. Actually, I don't think it's illegal. It may be to get onto my area of business there, but who cares? I'll just tell them I have it in my backpack and I have all the tools at work to fix it anyway, so. But, alright, so I just want to talk to you guys about why motorcycle dealerships suck. And what I mean by that is, like, how come they're always such pricks when you go there? Parts department and salespeople. I don't think I've had a single good experience at any of the motorcycle dealerships that I've been to. One, they never have a part in stock. They always gotta order it. Alright. Oh, you want a clutch cable? Even though the clutch cable will fit like multiple year bikes over multiple, models of bikes. No, we don't have it in stock. You can order it and it will be here in 2 days. It's a clutch cable, man. You should have cables in stock. That should be like one of the easiest things. Besides oil filters, But, yeah, nothing. Anytime I've ever gone to a motorcycle dealership or called them up to ask for a part, they do not have it. You gotta order it. So I just go ahead and order it from someplace that it's cheaper anyways. So they lose out on business like that. And then when you want to talk to them about motorcycles, they never seem to want to talk to you about it. It's like you're trying to sell a motorcycle. I want to talk to you about this particular model bike or something like that, and they either have no clue about that model of motorcycle, or no clue about that type of motorcycle, or just don't even want to talk to you. One time, a couple of years ago, so back in like 2012, a buddy of mine, he wanted to get into riding, and he really was liking an FZ08, which they don't even make anymore. They make the FZ09 now, so, and I think an FZ07, so, but he was really interested in this thing, and so we went down to one of the local dealerships. I won't mention their name, and we're walking around. It's a huge warehouse full of bikes, We're walking around. There's two salesmen there, and we spent an hour. I'm not kidding you. We spent an hour in there talking about it, looking at it, and then looking at other bikes. And they just completely ignored us. And then so finally when we were walking out, I just kept staring at them the whole time, like, come on guys, say something to us. Because it's not my job as a customer to approach you. That's your job. Especially when you get paid to sell it. So, I mean, yeah, talk about shitty service. Honestly, if somebody would have sat down and talked some dollars with him, he would have ended up buying a motorcycle. But nobody did, so he ended up spending like another year before he finally got one, just because it made him think about it and everything like that, and then other things happened. But I guarantee that day he probably would have left with a motorcycle. So that's on them. And then the other day I went and I bought some winter gloves because I was supposed to go do a ride in the cold and shitty weather. And I ended up not going to, but I ended up still buying some nice gloves. And but I wanted to talk to him about a Ninja 1000, and I was asking him, hey, how much are the saddlebags for these things? And the salesman, he was good. The salesperson was good in this case, and he's all like, well, I can't give you an accurate number, but I'm going to say it's going to be around $800, and that's just because an FJ09, I just priced one of them out, and it was about $850, so I'm going to guesstimate around the same. I'm like, all right. And he's like, but you know what? Let's go talk to our parts department, and I'll give you a more accurate detail. Because not only if you end up buying the motorcycle, you can get those parts for 15% off. So let's give you a real accurate number. And I'm like, okay, cool. So, but just then, like, another guy that he was selling an FJ09 to came back in, and so he's like, hey, let me deal with this guy, and you can talk to the parts dude. Fine. So, start talking to the parts dude, and I'm like, yeah, I just want to know how much the saddlebags on a Ninja 1000 are going to cost. So he brings out a little Kawasaki parts book and everything. And then he's like, all right, Ninja 1000. He goes, all right, so the ZX-10, and flips over to it. And he goes, they don't make saddlebags for it. And I said, yeah, I know, because that's the ZX-10. I was like, I want the Ninja 1000. And he's like, yeah, this is the Ninja 1000. I'm like, no, that's the ZX-10R, bro. And so we have to go back and forth on this. And I'm like, there is a huge difference. The best one was, I was like, no, the Ninja 1000 is a sport tourer. And the ZX-10 is a sport bike. I was like, there's a big difference, man. He goes, well, if you want a sport tourer, then you want to go up to the ZX-14. And flips over to a picture of the ZX-14. It goes, see, like this. And yeah, the ZX-14 has saddlebags and a tail bag and all that shit on it. And I'm like, okay, I understand that, but there is a difference between a Ninja 1000 and a ZX-10R. And he kind of just gives me this look like, you're a fucking moron and an asshole, get out of here. And so I go, do you got a minute? You want to go up front? And he's like, yeah, sure. So he closes his book, we go up front, and lo and behold, here's this beautiful black Ninja 1000. And I'm like, that's a Ninja 1000. It's like, you could clearly see the difference between a Ninja 1000 and a ZX-10, right? And he's like, all right, he just shakes his head or nods it. He just nods his head, walks back, goes back to his book, and then, guess what he finds? A Ninja 1000. And then prices them out, and they're about $900. It's like, how the fuck do you work in a motorcycle store in the parts department, and you can't tell me the difference between a Ninja 1000 and a ZX-10R? They're two completely different bikes made for two completely different things. Like, I could kind of understand the confusion if you're not into motorcycles. But is your life just, so boring and so ho-drum that this is the only job that you can have and you don't know the first thing about motorcycles? Man. And then why are you arguing with a customer who knows what he wants? Like, I'm the one that's willing to drop about $13,000 on a motorcycle here, with the saddlebags included. And you want to argue with me that there's a difference between the bikes that I want. I don't want a ZX-10R, I want a fucking Ninja 1000. So there you go. And then we used to have this, a dealership here. I don't know if they're still around, I bet they are. Hanging on by the, the hairs on the chin there, but they were called Pikes Peak Motorsports. Those guys were 100% assholes. And then the biggest part too, the most laughable thing about them is that they would have their Harley guys trying to sell you like an MV Agusta or a BMW, because the local Harley dealership owns them, and which was okay because they picked up Buell, obviously, when Buell was still being sold. And then they started selling BMWs. Then they had MV Agusta and Aprilia. And, yeah. So they would end up having their Harley guys trying to, tell you about any of the BMW motorcycles or an RSV4 factory from Aprilia. And it was like, okay, never mind. I'm done. And then the other bad part about them was that their prices on their bikes were marked up 5 to 10% over MSRP. Whereas, most everybody else sells at MSRP. So it was ridiculous. So these guys didn't know what they were talking about, treated you like shit, and, had to mark up on their bikes. So in the end, last time I knew, they closed their doors, and I haven't seen them since. which, you know, makes kind of sense, because now that they don't, you know, Harley doesn't sell Buell anymore, so you don't really have to, you don't have to peddle that. And then I know they lost their BMW dealership because they didn't sell any. Everybody went to the one up in Denver, which again makes sense, because the BMW dealership up in Denver is just that. It's a BMW dealership. Standalone, they don't sell any other bikes. So they know what the hell they're talking about. And these guys didn't know the first clue. So everybody rode the 65 miles up to Denver just to go and buy a bike. Which is sad, honestly. So, I don't know, it's just my opinion that, you know, if you work in motorcycle store, or, you know, service them or sell them or anything, then you should probably know about motorcycles and can actually talk, you know, to somebody about them. And everybody's going to have their favorites, you know. You're either a Cowie or a Honda dude, right? Or a Suzuki guy. Or a Yamaha, you know, it doesn't matter. But, or you're a Star dude and not a Harley, or a Victory and not Harley, or whatever. But that's, you know, you're going to have your favorite, but at least you can, you know, I can tell you the difference between a Victory Vegas 8-ball and just a regular 8-ball, you know. So I think, you know, especially if you're trying to be a salesman, I think that's something that you should do. See, this is scary. I have none, so I have to hope that everybody stops behind me. No mirrors. So anyways, I mean, do you guys have the same dealership, you know, issues with dealerships? I got more stories, especially some up in Denver. But, and the other thing that pisses me off is that you can never test ride a bike. You know, especially if you're going to drop $20,000 on a motorcycle and you can't even take it around the fucking block, you know? You just want to be able to run it through its gears and, you know, see if you like the seat height, the ride position, everything. But nope, can't even do that. But why, you know, that's just the question, guys. Why do motorcycle dealerships have to be pricks all the time? And why do they hire people that don't even know the first fucking thing about motorcycles or the bikes that they sell in that dealership? So leave a comment below if you guys have the same issues, or if you don't. If you had good motorcycle experience, you can give a shout out to your local guys. So, but yeah, all right, guys. That's me. That's my opinion, and I'm out.